How do we actually start this, though?
Welcome to Switching Reels. I'm Connor,
And
and
I'm Trenton.
yeah. So what exactly is this podcast?
I believe this podcast to be us wanting to go watch some more movies, specifically good ones. It came about because you wanted to watch the IMDb 250 with someone, and I like movies
Well,
as well.
if I remember correctly, you actually asked me for recommendations.
Here's this lore again. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
I think
So
that you actually are correct. I did ask you for recommendations.
yeah, and I'm like, well, I'd like to watch movies for the first time with people. I like seeing their reactions. So, but yeah, a lot of these movies are just really good, and I've seen a lot of them, and I'd like to, I guess, sort of go through and see if my opinions of them hold up. Um, yeah, so I think that's kind of what the podcast is. We're just going to kind of go through and figure out exactly what we're feeling about different movies and seeing what, you know, having differing opinions on what we want in a movie. I think will make
Exactly.
for some interesting things. So,
Yeah. So exploring that background some, I have a mom that really likes movies. She owns three bookshelves worth of DVDs um, that she watches frequently. I recently asked her how many movies she thinks she watches in a year, and she's pretty sure it's near 500. So
wow.
that's my background with movies. However, I have no like other formal background. I
Yeah.
like fun movies, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I maybe have hit 500 movies in a year before, but that's far from my average.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um, so yeah, I've actually got a few questions here, and
No, but
you.
first, what's your background?
Oh yeah. So my background with movies is probably a little bit more extensive. I um, actually moved out here. We met because I moved out here to Colorado, and I was going to film school. So yeah, I really like movies. Have since high school. I saw Inception and decided that I wanted to become a director off of
Nice.
that. And from there, I kind of, started to explore, different movies because I think it's really important to have good things to draw from for
Absolutely.
inspiration. So yeah, like I've seen a lot of movies. Um, I really enjoy movies. But I also I can be a little snobbish about it, and I know that. I haven't. It's not a real secret that I haven't been a huge fan of the Marvel cinematic universe. Not because I necessarily think they're all bad. I just think there's a lot of um, just passable movies in there, and my as I've discovered that my time is more valuable. I've decided that I can't really put up with passable movies anymore. It's too hard for me.
That makes sense.
So, but that being said, you have expressed an interest in making me
Everything
watch.
Marvel, everything. I think there's
Yeah.
there's a few Marvel movies on the IMDb 250,
Yes, there are.
and therefore I am looking forward to hopefully getting you to watch all of them.
Yeah, and I think with some of them we might do like a sped up
Yeah,
version, where we aren't going through every single movie all in one.
no, not
Um,
at all.
like we are with everything else. I feel like we should do that with Harry Potter as well, because
Agreed.
Deathly Hallows Part 2 is the only
It's the
Harry
only,
Potter movie
which
on
is
there.
super convenient. Like they only needed one,
Actually, that
and
is how they got me to watch the
yeah.
entire
Oh, that's
the
fantastic. They
entire
put one
series.
on the IMDb
It's the last
250.
one too.
The very last one. Oh, they did a good job there. Good
Yeah.
job. Good job, guys.
I will still argue that the fourth one is the best in the series, though.
I do like Goblet of Fire. That
Yeah.
was a good one. My dad watches it repeatedly. So,
Oh yeah.
um, do you think he put his name into the Goblet of Fire very aggressively? Anyway, so
So I actually do have a few more questions here, and interestingly enough, you did answer one of my questions
I am good at that. I'm clairvoyant.
before. Um, Let me see. Oh, maybe I didn't have that on there. I intended to have. Oh, wait, no. What kind of history do you have with movies? Oh, I was also asking about are there any notable films or comfort films that you kind of go back to?
Ooh, go back to. I
Yeah.
haven't gone back to a film in recent time. However, I have the nearly constant urge to go back and watch When Harry Met Sally.
Okay.
Just because I don't think that I have resonated with a male protagonist more,
Mm-hmm.
and especially specifically in a rom com.
Yeah.
But that is one that I feel like I could very easily watch much more often than I have so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, I've got some notable films for sure. I don't have a lot of comfort films. If I had to pick one, I'd probably do Ratatouille.
Ooh, it's a
I
good
go
film.
back and watch Ratatouille every once in a while, but if I've had like a really bad day, it can like it's one I can watch at any point, and it is really comforting to me. Um, I know a lot of people have like comfort TV shows and that kind of thing. For me, that's Community.
Oh, nice.
I have seen Community probably at least 8 times all the way through.
That's incredible.
But also it would a lot of times just be like it's the middle of the night, I'm feeling not great. I'm just going to
Community.
watch Community for a little while.
That's beautiful. Yeah, if we're
Um,
going TV shows, it's
yeah.
Great British Baking Show.
Oh, okay.
I love it. It's
That's
so calm.
it's really interesting because a lot of people have that
Yeah.
for sort of a comfort show, and I've just never gotten it.
Oh,
I
that's
just
so
don't.
funny.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I grew up watching like Dancing with the Stars and a couple of the other
yeah.
like more like maybe emotionally impactful ones,
Hmm.
and I find Great British Baking Show exceptionally calming
Okay.
comparatively. So
Yeah, yeah, that's totally fair. Um, but yeah, back to probably the first question. Let's see, top three favorites.
top three favorites ever.
Yes, it doesn't necessarily have
Yeah,
to
you're
be
gonna get
favorite. Just
categories probably
you
here,
know.
but maybe not categories. You're gonna get the Lord of the Rings generally. I think is actually
Hmm.
the highest there. My wife and I watch Lord of the Rings while doing laundry, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
I watch that very often, and my mom and
Yeah.
I used to watch it incessantly. Would watch it and then watch Vampire Movie and then watch Lord of the Rings again.
Oh, wow.
So that's just what we did.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you extended editions or
oh
do
yeah,
you? Okay,
please.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. There, I would feel like I would be missing part of the movie if I didn't watch the extended edition at this point.
There is, well, all of the movies are on the list, but there is, and so we'll get to this a little bit more, but uh, there is a lot of bloat in the extended editions, but also there's just some really really good stuff that they had to cut for
So
time, and
good.
it's like
It's
it,
hard.
yeah.
It's always
Sometimes
hard.
sometimes I do want to watch the theatrical cut, but I only have the extended.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I feel like we should at some point watch a theatrical. But
Yeah.
do you know if they make a distinction between theatrical and non on IMDb?
They don't.
Nice.
Um, I assumed we would watch the extended
Theatrical. Yeah,
editions.
no, the extended. Completely agree with you.
Most of these, I'm going to suggest we watch the director's cut anyway.
Good.
So, yeah, because even we're going to get to Blade Runner, and Blade Runner is infamously far worse with the theatrical cut. Like, it's a great film, but yeah, the theatrical cut is just like they tried to shoehorn a happy ending into like a really depressing
Rough.
movie. So yeah, it's just like there's that, and then there's weird choices that were just like, yeah, we made this because the studio told us to.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that's one.
Okay.
That's and then I feel like at this point, second one, it's hard. It's gonna take. These will likely change as we're going through
Oh
this
yeah.
entire series. So right now, my commitment would be generally Star Wars, but mostly the original series.
Okay.
Um, though I really don't hate on the prequels as much as everyone else does.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't either. I think they were masterpieces that were flawed in execution.
Absolutely,
So,
completely agree.
with the
And
exception of maybe Phantom Menace, I have problems with that one.
okay, I like Jar Jar. He's one of my
Oh
favorite
my gosh,
characters.
that's a hot take.
It's a hot take. Exactly. I really wish he was a Sith Lord. That would have been fantastic.
I think that would have been a great twist, but twas not to be.
Twas not to be. And then last one, I'm going to just throw in Harry Met Sally. When Harry Met Sally,
Okay.
because that's just such a good movie.
Yeah. Have you seen that several times? Like, because I'm just curious because you have brought it up and you said like,
No, I want to. I've watched
So
it multiple
so you've
times.
only seen it
My
once?
soul says that I should watch it multiple times, but I've only watched it once so far.
That's interesting. A
Yeah.
top three movie that
I watched once and just resonated very
that's crazy to
deeply.
me.
I love it.
I mean, there are a few movies like that for me, but most of the time it's a harrowing experience. So I remember that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just never in the mood to
Do that
experience
again.
that one again.
Yeah.
We will watch some of those
That was
this time
good.
around.
I'm excited.
Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri did that to me. Like, I loved the movie. It's so good. I went to see it with my wife when it was in theaters, and neither of us knew what we were walking into. I don't know if you know the premise of that
I
movie,
have no idea.
but I wanna make that like
Great.
that one just blew me away. It is a dramatic comedy, but the dramatic elements are really, really heavy. And the comedy is really, really good too. So it's like these moments where you're like, I was laughing out loud in the theater, and then somebody says something, and I just went, oh, and just felt my entire chest drop. I'm really excited to show you that one.
I'm very excited for that. Very, very cool.
But yeah, so top three movies for me. I'm gonna go with four actually, only because Christopher Nolan is overrepresented if I only do three. So Memento is my favorite movie of all time.
Cool.
I watched that one when I was in high school for the first time, and I ended up rewatching it 3 times before the week was out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
There
and
you go.
I don't think I've ever done that with another movie,
Mhm.
because it's mind bending and it's a great story from start to finish, and it has some really interesting moral dilemmas to it.
Nice.
So yeah, favorite movie of all time. Second favorite is The Godfather,
Oh, nice.
which is it's just a classic.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, I know you haven't. Don't worry, it'll be one of our first episodes.
Exactly.
I think that's
Like
ranked
2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, it's either 2 or 3. Third favorite is The Dark Knight.
Nice.
Again, just because it's just such a good film.
Yeah.
And that one is crazy rewatchable for me as well. Like even Memento and The Godfather, as much as I love both of them, and I do love them more than The Dark Knight, I've seen The Dark Knight probably at least 4 times more than either of them.
That's fantastic.
Maybe combined. And then 4 is Alien.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
heard Alien's good.
Alien is fantastic.
Nice.
Interesting thing, total side note, about Alien is it is widely considered that Alien and Aliens are both absolute fantastic movies. Aliens being the sequel. They switch genres between those two. The first one is a horror movie.
Yeah.
Space horror. The second one is an action movie. And they do both of them so pitch perfectly. Like, Aliens makes me like the 80s a little bit, which anyone who knows me knows that I don't like the 80s. But Aliens just does it for me. I don't know. But yeah, I still definitely prefer Alien. And I think I may have told you this, but horror is constantly in a state for me of potentially being my favorite genre. But there's just so much bad horror out there, and it's so hard to do good horror that it's just I can't in good faith say like, yes, I love horror, because I just don't. There's so much that's just garbage.
Totally.
But I do like a really well done horror movie. October is horror movie month for me. So
yes.
Yeah.
I remember this.
I don't watch horror movies outside of it for the most part. I'm gonna make an exception because Nope's gonna be in theater. And
Nope's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be fantastic.
And I've seen both of Jordan Peele's previous movies in theaters.
Nice.
But yeah, I'll go see a horror movie in theaters, but I usually won't watch one at home unless it's October. And then I ramp up the amount of horror movies I watch until the end. So like at the beginning, like first week of October is like, you need to watch a horror movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's cool. By the end of October, I'm not allowed to watch anything but horror movies.
Nice.
And I put those rules on myself because it's so much fun to just watch them back to back. Trinity hates it because she doesn't like horror movies. But
nope, I can imagine. I think I remember that happening last year.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And Halloween for me is just, it is like, I usually end up watching 3 horror movies or something like that. Yeah. And one of them has to be Sweeney Todd.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I when I say horror movies, I include horror comedies and, action horror and all that kind of stuff. So, although action horror doesn't have very many good things either. Like if you're looking at the horror genre and the subgenres of it, action horror has like 3 good entries, maybe. So now that we spent a very long time on that first question.
Hey, that's how life is. That's how this is going to go. We're gonna need to time box ourselves here.
Oh, almost certainly. Do you have any favorite actors or directors?
I'm
gonna
actors
limit
or
mine.
directors. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna limit mine a little bit.
Awesome. I think that Christian Bale exists, and he might have been Batman.
You are right on both counts.
Yes. Beautiful. Actors are my weak point. Christian Bale is very cool. Oh wait, Anna Kendrick. I love everything Anna Kendrick does.
Okay.
She's very fun. What was that most recent one that she did with? Maybe not most recent actually. It was dealing with it had a lot of guns in it. And it ended.
There are a lot of movies you could be describing right now.
I know. They're almost psychics. The guy gets shot with a shotgun a bunch.
I don't know.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
It's quite possible that I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Anna Kendrick probably is one of my favorites, and I have some faces. I watch so many TV shows at the moment, so it's gonna be really fun watching more movies.
Okay. Yeah.
To get more of these down, and then director, I have no clue.
Yeah.
I know that George Lucas did some stuff.
Yeah. So. George Lucas did some stuff. You're not wrong. But no, as far as favorite directors go,
Oh, sorry, Peter Jackson.
Okay, yeah,
actual favorite.
That's
has
completely
to be Peter
fair.
Jackson.
Yeah.
That's the one I can remember.
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah. For me, honestly, most of the time a director is labeled as an auteur. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Like the little creature.
I
love otters.
Auteur theory is the idea that it was.
It's a theory?
It's film theory. It was a bunch of, in fairness, it was a bunch of French filmmakers throwing a fit. If I'm completely honest, they wanted films to be considered art like books were.
Interesting.
And so it directly translates to author.
Oh, nice. Cool.
The idea is that your director is the author of your film.
Nice.
And so any director that's referred to as an auteur basically has complete artistic control of their film.
Nice.
So any of those I tend to enjoy. I like Paul Thomas Anderson. I like Christopher Nolan. I like Quentin Tarantino. I like Wes Anderson.
I've heard 3 of those 4 names, so that's good.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, as far as directors go, if they're considered auteurs, then I'd probably like them. The actors. There are a lot of actors I really like. My favorite actor of all time is Gary Oldman.
I've heard his name.
He was Commissioner Gordon in The Dark Knight.
Oh, cool. Okay, got it.
He is really interesting because he's so good at just accents in general that he was put in a whole bunch of different things where he was switching up his accent, and he actually forgot his native British accent. He had to go to a vocal coach to teach him how to speak in a British accent again, which is wild to me.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, he just disappears into every single role he's in. Finest Hour, I thought was a mediocre movie when it came out, but he played Winston Churchill in it, and I'm just watching Winston Churchill on a screen. The only thing I didn't believe about that performance was Winston Churchill definitely would have swore more.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I was like,
so.
yeah. That was the only thing about that I was like, yeah, I don't believe it.
That's
But,
fantastic.
yeah.
That's so good.
So, yeah, Gary Oldman's probably my favorite actor of all time.
Nice.
As far as auteurs that I haven't brought up, David Fincher is another one.
David Fincher.
Yeah, we'll watch a bunch of his movies.
Okay, perfect.
Like several. Yeah, so we've got that one. What kind of things do you look for in a movie, just generally?
Generally, look for in a movie, I want it to be well paced. I don't like movies that feel not thought out in their pacing.
Okay.
Like, I like it whenever, and obviously you can't know that before you
Yeah.
see a movie.
Yeah.
So that's not something really to look for. If I was going to go and see
So-
like a trailer or something.
So, out of curiosity, if a movie is slow, but it feels intentionally slow.
Oh, intentionally slow is fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, absolutely.
I was wondering
It's
about
more
that,
the
yeah.
intention than the actual pacing.
Okay.
It's unintentional slow pacing or unintentional way too fast pacing that throws me off.
Yeah.
I do like action things. I've gotten a lot closer to romantic comedies recently after getting married.
Yeah.
So,
I bitterly
and-
got into romantic comedies when I was single.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, great. What?
It was weird.
Looking forward to this.
I still enjoy a lot of them. It's just, yeah, it was things where it'd be like I wanted to feel something in that
Yeah.
realm, but also I was just angry at everyone on screen falling in love, and I'm like, how dare you?
Nice.
Yeah.
Catch-22 there. That's great. Other things I look for in a movie. I like confusing plots because I like to think during movies.
Excellent.
Um,
I also like to think during movies, so
awesome.
yeah,
Good.
this will be how we connect, probably.
Yeah, likely correct. And I always like looking for double meanings, even if they shouldn't necessarily be there.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be fun too.
You might like Taxi Driver more than I do.
Oh, nice. I always confuse that with Baby Driver.
Very different movies.
Yeah, I've heard.
But yeah, I still think another complete aside. We need to do an Edgar Wright section. We just do.
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright.
What's he right?
Baby Driver.
Nice. Okay, good.
Baby Driver. We were talking about the Blood and Ice Cream or Cornetto trilogy
Okay.
earlier.
That was him too.
He directed those.
Not earlier during this podcast, so that's gonna
Not earlier during the podcast. It won't throw people off now.
Hopefully.
And I'm forgetting something else that was big. Oh, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is the movie.
I hate it. It's gross.
Oh,
It's the
really?
worst movie of all time.
Really?
Yeah, I have very strong feelings about Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Honestly, I did not like it as much as I wanted to the first time I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
It has grown on me the more I've seen it.
That's good. It's only decreased the more I've seen it. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. I've seen
Actually,
it
you've
multiple
told me
times.
about this. There is
Yeah.
also
There's also some pretty deep personal reasons for that. one.
yeah. It's not just that you
The
didn't like
movie,
the movie.
exactly.
Yeah. That one does have Anna Kendrick in it.
It does have Anna Kendrick in it, which is a redeeming quality.
But yeah. So, what kind of things?
What do you look for?
Do
you have a thing you look for?
Not one particular thing.
Pizzazz.
I look for a strong artistic direction.
Awesome.
I need a movie that is going to feel like someone was trying to communicate something.
Nice.
Even if that something is just, this is really cool.
Nice.
Right? Like, The Raid, for example, it's a Taiwanese film.
Oh.
Craziest martial arts movie I've ever seen. The plot is beyond secondary. Characters are beyond secondary. But the martial arts and some of the stunts they do are just nuts.
Nice.
And so, like, I still really enjoy that movie because I go, well, the point of it was look at all of these really cool stunts that we choreographed.
Absolutely.
And so as long as I feel the artistic intent behind the movie.
Kind of like Cats.
Cats is interesting.
And
because,
it's a play and movie, I guess.
well,
but
yes, but the movie is interesting in that it took everything that it could have and then did it
made it bad.
wrong.
Made it very bad.
And so it feels like someone intentionally trying to shoot down their own movie, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's so clear that it wasn't.
Tried.
Yeah. that's all I'm gonna say about cats right
Agreed.
now.
What's your next question?
We've already kind of gone over this, but favorite genres or categories of film.
It's kind of hard. At this point I feel closer to I like a good movie.
Okay, yeah.
Than saying yes or no to specific genres.
Yeah.
I probably still tend pretty strongly towards like action movies, just like but only in a very general sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've watched very little horror.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I can't really speak a ton on that one.
Honestly,
and epic fantasy. I love all epic fantasy.
The catalog of horror movies that you actually need to see is relatively small.
Good. Okay, cool.
Some of them are, again, phenomenal, but the catalog itself is, I don't know, maybe 20 movies deep.
Nice.
That's personal opinion, but
hey, I'm here for it. I'm not necessarily looking for horror movies. So.
Yeah. For me, favorite genres or categories, I would have to go with like. You know what? I really don't think I can answer that.
Nice.
You know, I do really just like a good movie.
Cool. So we'll put action horror there as your favorite.
No. I have been told by one of my friends that I don't like, or that I don't like things and dislike things. I just only like things that are good. Like he said I don't have any taste. I like things that are good and I don't like things that are bad. That's the way he described it.
Which is fantastic.
Well, he says basically like I don't take I don't let myself get involved. I basically just step back and go, is this a good piece of art? And if art is subjective-ish. There is definitely some things that you can watch, like no one is going to watch The Room and be like, oh yeah, this is a better piece of art than
The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight even, yeah. So yeah, I like those things. The one thing that I have found that is outside of this rule is macaroni westerns. Macaroni westerns are Japanese westerns.
Oh, it's these ones. You're telling me about this.
Yes. Yeah. Everything is just so over the top and wild, and it's all played so straight until it just turns comedy. And it's unlike anything else. It's so weird and cool. And those are the two things they're looking for. They're looking for comedy and cool.
Nice.
And they don't usually turn out to be great films, but they're really fun to watch.
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
So if I had to pick one that, sort of goes outside of my...
Choose that one.
My quality filter. Yeah. So how often do you generally watch films? Like,
I watch at least one movie a week.
Okay.
Generally. Normally. It's a Sunday night movie, which to my wife and I means calm. It is finishing out your week and it's starting in your week. So that's normally what it is. Otherwise it's TV shows unless I go to a theater for something new.
Okay. Yeah. For me it definitely goes through phases. I have some phases where I just watch movies basically nightly, sometimes 2 a night.
Totally.
But there are other times when I just don't watch movies for weeks at a time.
Crazy.
Yeah, so very inconsistent. But I do, again, a lot of times when I am in one of those spaces where I'm just watching a lot of movies, I will watch a lot of movies.
Absolutely.
So
that's great.
Yeah, it's very, very inconsistent though. And that is probably the shortest time we're going to spend on a question.
Yeah, I think it is.
What's your preferred method of watching a movie? Do you like to watch them like at home? Or, like I know some people that prefer to just lay in bed and watch them on their laptop. Like
sociopaths?
I don't trust them, but I do know them.
So I think that like my preferred is absolutely in a theater. I really like some of the cool, big, loud ones. I like IMAX and I like the Dolby stuff, and it's really fun. Past that, we have a relatively large TV downstairs, so I like that.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going for quality of watching a movie,
Yeah.
The most consistent one is absolutely the smaller TV in my bedroom. That is what my wife and I watch the most.
Yeah, and that's completely fair. I think sometimes
Good.
okay. Sometimes I think convenience and ease of access is the best way to at least experience the most movies.
Absolutely.
Not to say that that needs to be the end goal, but like
experience the most movies.
Yeah.
That's the goal of this entire podcast, Connor.
That was my goal for a very long time. Was watch as many movies as possible. I watched a ton of movies on a TV about, I don't know, that big.
It's not big.
Yeah, it isn't. But I was
People in the video
also
will see how big that
I
was.
was also yeah. I just held out my hands at the size of the TV. It was not very large.
It was a 1x3, so I don't know how you watched anything on that, but
At about 3 feet away
Nice.
in my tiny bedroom.
you mean
Yeah. So yeah, as far as way I like to experience movies, my favorite is at a small theater.
you can say that.
I love indie theaters. They're just different. They feel
Mhm.
different when you walk in. And I really do appreciate those.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, that's definitely my favorite way. Barring that, I need good sound. That's about it.
Nice.
Picture quality can
We might need to get a sound bar.
differ a little bit. I don't know. I don't remember how the sound on your TV is. I know I've heard it, but it absolutely was not so bad that I was like, that's a bad.
That's a bad sound.
But yeah, so sound is important to me when it comes to movies because it is make or break. If you've got bad sound on a movie, it just ruins the entire experience.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we've got more questions. I'm gonna skip this next one just because I don't know. It feels like a redundant question to me.
Perfect.
Anyway, do you have any films that you are particularly excited to see and discuss? I know you've looked through.
I have looked through it. I've only seen some amount, which we'll disclose here in a short amount of time.
That's the one question we talked about before.
Exactly.
For shooting.
What was I going to talk about here? So, IMDb top 250. There it is. Cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of them. I'm actually looking forward to seeing The Godfather. That's one that I've heard is just very good. And I'm looking forward to Pulp Fiction.
Really?
And,
okay.
Yeah, and Fight Club. I'm looking forward to that as well.
Fight Club is a lot of fun.
So it's some of the more classic ones that I just haven't seen. I'm quote unquote looking forward to Seven.
Okay, that one's David Fincher.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, cool. I've heard that it's
a rough movie, but it's also one where there are a lot of people I know who don't like thrillers and horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
And despite how dark and like just visceral that movie feels, a lot of people that don't like those kind of movies do enjoy those.
Interesting.
Our mother-in-law likes that movie. Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yep. A lot of people that just do not like those kind of movies for the most part do really, really enjoy that one.
That's fantastic. So it's things like that that I am looking forward to. Oh, Memento's on here. Good.
Yeah. All of my favorite movies are on there probably. There are a few outside that just kind of live in the sphere of like, I just really enjoy these movies and they're not on the list. I'm hoping to bring a few of those in just as like individual event kind of things. If we do a Halloween episode, we need to do Sweeney Todd.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Yeah. I haven't seen that either.
Yeah. But that's my favorite musical of all time.
Nice. You don't like musicals?
I do. Yeah, I do like musicals. I don't like when people take movies that already exist and try to shoehorn songs into them.
Yeah.
I just don't think it works.
I see.
Um,
like most musicals. La La
but
Land actually is also one of my favorite movies.
La
It's
La
really
Land
fun.
is
I
fantastic.
really like La La
I saw
Land.
that one at least 3 times in the theater.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that one was really good.
And there are only 4 or 5 movies that I've probably seen in the theater more than once.
Nice.
And La La Land I saw several times. And every time I finish the movie and I just go watch the credits scroll. Not
just think.
because it's just
good.
that ending.
Yep.
I just smacked the microphone, but that ending just hits me here.
Yeah, so good in your lungs.
But all right, so we are on our last question.
Wow, good job. We did it.
How many of the films we're going to watch have you already seen? Understanding that the list will almost certainly change before we finish it.
Yeah.
Almost several times. But at the time of filming, how many have you seen?
Almost several times.
Almost several.
Nice. So I sadly counted about 2 months ago when we thought of this idea.
Oh, okay.
And then haven't counted since. And I think that was 52.
52.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a fifth of the movies I have seen.
Okay. I need to look at this because I counted
you,
right
Connor?
before we... Huh? I counted right before we started filming, but I've seen 205.
Yeah.
And that does not include the movies that I have watched most of the way through and fallen asleep in or anything like that.
Nice.
Because there are some of those on there where it's like, Das Boot is a 4-hour movie.
Oh, exciting.
Yes. So like
getting off work early for that one.
It's a good movie, but also it's 4 hours and it's all or almost all inside of a submarine. So it's paced like it's inside of a submarine.
Makes sense.
So yeah.
Claustrophobic.
That's not a pacing. That's a
paced claustrophobic.
That is a feeling.
I think it's a feeling.
Maybe a tone. You could have a claustrophobic
tone. I'd agree with that.
Ooh. Complete side tangent. We need to get you to see 10 Cloverfield Lane because that movie feels claustrophobic.
Oh, is 10 Cloverfield Lane the one with the video camera?
No.
Oh, is it just normal Cloverfield?
That's normal Cloverfield.
Dang.
10 Cloverfield Lane.
Oh, is this the one that had all the schizophrenic people? Or
No.
dissociative or disorder?
No. That's Split, I think.
That's Split.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No. 10 Cloverfield Lane was Mary Elizabeth Winstead and John Goodman in the same universe as Cloverfield. So the alien invasion thing. But rather than being in the middle of the alien invasion, they're in a bunker. And basically it's just the interaction between them and there's one other guy, I think his name's Emmett in the movie, that are all sort of in the bunker together and start to
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It's a very claustrophobic movie and I love it.
Awesome. Cool. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I am too.
Fantastic.
So next week, we're gonna watch Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yes, good.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen it. Micaiah has seen it.
Okay. It is an interesting movie. There will be certain movies where I'm just going to warn you the week before, like this one's gonna be brutal.
Yeah.
Be prepared for it because when
Make
we
your
get to your next,
Cool.
But this one is just. It is an interesting movie and one that I would say, like, it's not brutal. There are brutal things in it, but it's not a brutal movie.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I look forward to watching that one again with you. So yeah, let's. Do we have a sign off?